it's like you think of someone that's coming in and speaking to you about mental health. It's like you almost have that perception of them, oh, they're such a positive person that they never get affected by this stuff. But you still do.
I had to hit proper rock bottom.
We question all our beliefs except for the ones we really believe.
Not everything is about being a certain something that someone told you had to be in order for you to be fulfilled.
When you start leaning again into your passions, into joy, into the impact that you're making, your brain just goes, let's go, let's roll, let's make this happen.
Welcome back to $1 Million Days. My name is George Passis.
I'm Robbie Tucan.
And we are on location. We're at Ngambie Lakes.
Ngambie Lakes. We've got a special guest today.
We do. He's a professional sports star. He's a reality TV star, podcast, entrepreneur, podcaster, entrepreneur. What else? Friend. Influencer. And it's Mr. Cameron Merchant.
So good to be here, boys. How good? $1 Million Days.
$1 Million Days.
Days.
We need that.
What a time.
Can you do that? We'll do that again. So you can,
we'll just capture that. Yeah, capture that as the intro.
That's it. Mate, thanks for coming down. You've flown down all the way from Sydney.
In Sydney?
Here today. Coming and speaking at my event, actually. We've got our Vitality Immersion. We're getting together with a whole bunch of builders and talking about everything that's important outside of their business, the life that they lead, everything that they need to do and focus on to have a fulfilled life. And I wanted to invite you down specifically because you're really getting into that headspace now of mental health and that positive approach to their life and their business. And you've obviously experienced a few things on your journey to where you are today that will benefit people. And that's why I really wanted to get you to come down. And we connected through similar circles as well. And I wanted you to come and share your story. So I really appreciate you coming down and also joining us on the podcast today.
Thanks, mate, and thanks for having me. And what's so funny about that, George, is that day when we spoke, and it's so funny how things just come together, like in an instant, you know, and if you just lean in and just let it flow, right? And if you've got that positive sort of mindset to it of what's the best scenario that can come out of it, and that day was a perfect example, man. I've just been in London with my wife. We've just been setting up a business. Figure her shapewear business. We came back. It was the first day sitting at home where Jules was at work. Ollie, my son, who's now 3, he was at daycare, and I was at home, and I just had all my projects, and I've got a zillion happening. Do you know? And I sat in my chair. I was like, "Whew, right, here we go. Let's do this." And I fucking went numb. Like I was overwhelmed is probably what the right word is. I was just overwhelmed with so many things that are happening, and they're all positive, they're all fantastic. But I was like, I don't know where to start. And I felt myself sort of just slumber into my couch, into my chair, and just like, oh, what do I do from here? And I felt my own mental health sort of just tip just a fraction. I was like, okay. And then I think I just remember us having a conversation about this is what you wanted, and logistic of it wise was actually a little bit tricky. Jules was away. I've got my son to get here, not just to Melbourne, but to get then all the way down here. There was some tricky parts to it. And it would have been so easy to just go, do you know what, mate? No, it's
too hard basket.
It's too hard basket. But then I realised once speaking to you, I said, mate, I'll make this happen. Why? Because I've realised when you start leaning again into your passions, into joy, into the impact that you're making, your brain just goes, let's go, let's roll, let's make this happen. And I remember getting off the phone to you saying, mate, I'll make this happen, and I look forward to it. And I was on this neutral just high again of, again, tapping into the things that matter to me. Because I've got 700 different other projects that will all happen at some stage, but clearly mental health, wellness, self-care, and effective communication is something that's so important to me. And when I started speaking to you about it, and then when I started to speak to Robbie about how we're going to make this happen, I remember just stopping in my kitchen for a second and going, that's it. Like, again, no matter how you're feeling or what's going on in your world, if you just lean into the things that matter most to you, the rest will just find a way. We find ourselves sitting here doing a podcast, talking about good things, helping out with an event, knowing it's going to impact guys in your industry. Fuck, what more do you want? Doing it with a smile on your face. Like, how good?
Gets the good juices flowing.
It does. Yeah. It really does. But again, you just realize that on the other side of uncomfortability, there's your growth. You know, hearing a quote the other day is that we all want magic. Your magic is in the things that you're putting off. And I was like, that could have been so easy for me to do. Just to go, nah, mate, I'll stay at home here.
Yeah, the magic is in the work.
It's in the work that,
That you're avoiding.
That you're avoiding.
That was on my story.
Yeah.
Is that read it?
Love it. Was that what it was?
Yeah, that was on my story.
Gosh,
yeah.
I went down a wonderful rabbit hole then,
Magic
mate.
is in the work you're
The
avoiding.
magic is in the work that you're avoiding.
Yeah.
And not that I was avoiding it, but some things in life just get a bit too hard basket. And you're like, you know what? This was one of them that was genuinely just aligned with my soul, mate. So thanks for having me, buddy, and well done to you.
No, thank you. So it's it's funny that you mentioned that at the beginning, where you're like, you felt yourself slipping. It's like you think of someone that's coming in and speaking to you about mental health. It's like you almost have that perception of them, they're such a positive person that they never get affected by this stuff. But you still do.
Absolutely.
You still do. Even though you might be there coming to speak to people about how they can build that resilience in their life, that they can still do all these things, doesn't mean you still don't have those challenges or those slipbacks where you've got to go, holy shit, this is actually pretty bad, or I'm going through a slump, or whatever it is. But I think the difference is you now have the tools to help yourself get past that and how to improve on your current situation as well.
Exactly
which
what
are
it is.
tools that a lot of people don't have.
Yep.
My question to you is, how did you go, right, this is what I need to do? And was there an experience, a time that was really difficult for yourself to then want to go out there and help others?
The first thing that came that I remember every single day, no matter what pressure we're putting on us, like, we're all human. So yes. And I do that, whether it be on my socials, whether I see people, they're like, mate, you're so positive, you're happy. I get people that ask other friends, they go, I saw him on the show. Is he really like that? And they always say, yes, he is. But again, it's because that was always the authenticness in me. I had that. But I went on this big time roller coaster of emotions. And it was over about 10 years ago. And I used to say to people, now they see me and they just go, oh, Cam, you're a professional cricketer. You went on a reality TV show.
Yeah.
That's great. Things are great for you. I was like, yeah.
Must be nice.
Now, must be nice.
Must be nice.
Now, but you didn't see the fucking 10 years of heartache that I went through. You didn't see the 10 years of depths of despair, rock bottom that I hit to get where it is. So yes, there's that thing, overnight success or overnight happiness. Yeah, I've been lucky enough to experience this for probably 7 years, just this really consistent level of happiness. That was a part of it. As a cricketer growing up, if you think about it stats-wise, you're either scoring 100 or you're not.
Yeah.
So your emotions in life are constantly, you little ripper, I'm fucking shit. Oh, you're awesome. No, I'm not. And you continuously go through this mental head game of black and white stats that define you as a human being, not just as a cricketer. And I think a lot of cricketers, sports people, business people, they find themselves in that. And I went through that, and I had to hit proper rock bottom when my contract was pulled from me, when I decided cricket wasn't going to be anymore. And once I finished up cricket, I lost pure purpose. I lost pure value in anything that I was doing. And I decided, I just hit rock bottom. I had nothing to get up for. I was lost. My mental just said, fuck, what's going on, man? Like, there's no money coming in now. You're not traveling the world. You're not training. That was a cool life. Where are you now? And I had to deal with that. And then that was the start of the process. And we can go into more from that.
Yeah, I've seen you tell this story on, I think it might have been Channel 9, Today Show, something like that. And you told this exact story. Can you share the story with everyone? Because I think it's really powerful.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. I spent so many years of wanting to become a professional cricketer, and that's all I want to do. It's all I never excelled at school, but cricket was my thing, and I got good at it, and then I started to progress, and I started to make rep teams, and then all of a sudden, bang, I became a professional cricketer, and it's everything that you think you want in that time. What generally happens is that it was a fucking dog-eat-dog world, you know. All of a sudden,
Like being a professional athlete?
Yeah, being a professional athlete.
Yeah.
Because once I realised that when you're playing with your teammates in school and school or club side, you know, they're your teammates, they're your friends. When you take that next step into the professional world, you're taking food off someone else's table if you're coming into that team. Now, any one team at any time is you're only 11 players or 12 players in a team, right? 6 batsmen, 4 bowlers or 3 bowlers and a keeper. You know, so I was a batter, left-handed batter. So you come into that side and all of a sudden you and I are facing off for the same position. You've got a family or I've got a family. You're trying to make it. I'm trying to make it. why this is just, why would you,
Why you over me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Why are
why
you
would
going
you,
to do the team thing to
why
help
would
your team,
you
mate? Why are you going to do the
care?
thing? Why, 1%ers almost go out the window, don't they?
Definitely.
Because it's like, I'm not going to do the 1%er for you. That's going to be detrimental to me.
Spot on.
You know, I'd rather you go out on a duck, but I make 100 runs this game.
Oh, how many times you'd either hear it, it's like, can't make any today or whatever. And it's like, no, it's like, awesome, great. And they sort of shoulders back because it's my time to shine. Beautiful. And you're thinking, hang on, you're in my fucking team. And I was so raw to that. I was so naive to that because I come from Manly. At Manly cricket, like we bleed blue, we're all in it together. And once you take that step out, and that can be detrimental to you as well because you're brought up in this really family supportive
Safe
team,
environment.
safe
It's like
environment.
a bubble.
Yeah, and then when you see step out into that, and it's almost not like real life.
That would be the same at elite level too, though, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
So say when you're playing for Australia, if you were to play for Australia for your rep side, would that be the same sort of mentality there?
I reckon
Do
it
you
would.
think there's
I
still
reckon-
a team aspect of it there?
I think in any situation in life, you find that the best teams are exactly that. They become teams and they work together because those guys are so secure within themselves. And they're like, if you're willing to out-hustle me or outwork me, then you deserve to take my position. I think that's where they all are. But then again, the teams that I've played in, whether it be at professional level or whatever, the teams that work together, you find anything. Same with business. You don't get into a business idea or contract going, I need all this from you. Like it's a two-way street. If you work together, you're going to get the best outcome no matter what. I just didn't experience that, and then so it was and plus I was in New Zealand. I took an opportunity to go travel across the ditch to find an opportunity. At that time in New South Wales cricket, it was fucking hard. They had the best players, they had all Australian elite players, and I just couldn't find a chance. And I was doing well. Found an opportunity to go and play, train full time, and get paid for it. I was like, I'm in. Made me a better player, but it was tough. It was tough, and that's when I started to experience mental health decline, where I found myself going, hang on, I'm doing everything I've ever dreamed of. Playing sport professionally, I'm traveling the world, getting paid well for it. I train every single day. And all I do, I just find myself at home in my bed, literally covers over the head. But I had no idea what mental health was then.
Do you feel like it's like that in all sports, or is that a cricket thing? Is that all sports? Do you feel like all professional sports? Was it a team? Like, was it a lack of team culture? Was it all professional sports? Are sports that competitive that all sports are like that? Like, if you went and played in the NBA, for example, or the NBL, do you think it would have been the same?
I think there's a degree of it in all sports. There has to be.
I think so too.
There has
You
to
look at the AFL, right? There's such a small percentage of players that ever make it to 150 games. If you actually look at the percentages, there's a small percentage of players that actually make it to 150. To get to 300 games, it's like less than 5% of the every single player ever to make it. And then it'd be the same thing there. You've got your VFL, then to get into the ones and to keep your spot, it's all stats. It's all stats. You're literally there going, well, how many possessions did you get? Now they're wearing trackers on them. Well, how many Ks did you run this game? You only ran 15 Ks. Everyone else is running 43. Like, if you're not running, then you're not doing the work.
I think it's got to be. I think it has to improve. It has to. I think it has improved. Surely,
It's all
I mean,
But
for sure.
but let's just take it. I kind of disagree with that.
Why?
Okay, in the sense that if you're a sporting club, I want the best of the best playing for me. Do you know what I mean? I need the best because the success of the team to be able to win premierships, to do whatever it has to do, to be successful, needs the best players there.
But what you just said, the answer is in your life, like what you just said, the success of the team.
Yeah, there needs to be that team camaraderie as well. Like, there has to be that aspect of it. But you can't sacrifice putting someone in because he's trying really hard when he's not good enough to do that position.
No.
And the thing is, there's only 11 spots. There's only 22 spots. So if you're not, like, you're putting in a big effort and you're not as good as an 18-year-old kid that's number one draft pick that's going to take your position, you're going to get dropped. No matter how many loyal years of service you've given, they're going to go look at you and say, man, you're old, you're washed up, your knees bung, like, it's time for you to move on or go to another, or we're going to trade you to another club. You're going to go to a lesser club because we're going to get draft picks because you used to be good, so you've still got some current market value.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very dog-eat-dog world, and definitely in the sporting space, it's like you're there for 5, 10, 15 years, whatever it is. The next day you're done. And that's why you see so many footballers or professional sports players finish their career, then become bricklayers. Whatever it might be. Go working at a milk bar or, you know what I mean? They had nothing else because same as what you just said, they lost their purpose. And that's still relevant in all aspects of life too. In any job, in any position, like when you're employing someone, you want to get the best.
Yeah, so but you're looking at it from a coach perspective.
Correct.
I was looking at it from a player's perspective. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if we were on, the three of us had a team right now, and two of us had to get picked, and I genuinely thought that the two of you could deliver better against our opponents, I would say, okay, you two step in.
Because that's you looking at it now as a 32-year-old.
Yeah.
Now, for a prime of a sort of cricketer, you look from 22 to 28, 26. We had this conversation today. Like, if I have my mind and my brain now in the 26-year-old that was playing professional cricket, that was day in, I'd be fucking unstoppable.
Yeah.
Hindsight's a beautiful thing. We
Hindsight
saw
is a
that.
beautiful thing, yeah.
But why now? Because I'm secure with who I am. I'm secure with the person that I am, and I want only the best for you guys. Because if you deliver better results than me, fucking good on you.
Yeah, it's like there's an end goal.
100%. So it's not competition, it's collaboration. I want you to be the best because we're a team here. Let's go do that. I think you learn so much as a youngster, but you're not, because your prime focus is I just need to be the best. And when you put everyone else's perspective in that, that's why teams, whether it be AFL teams, any sporting teams, you need that old dog that can provide that wisdom and that experience and that, hey, youngster, we're all in this together here. Do you know, that's where you need that, whether it's business or whatever. And to go, hey, this is not all about you, this is about us. And when we work together, we all win.
Is there many people in that, say, first grade of cricket that just are happy to play at that level or go on and play 300 games at that level? Or is it always the intention that that's a stepping stone to the Australia side or to the national side? Is that what that space is? Because I think that would be hugely detrimental to any coach, to any club ever being able to have a successful team. Because they're just going to get cherry-picked the second their team is really good.
Yeah, I think it's everyone's dream.
Yeah.
Would you like to wear the baggy green for Australia or
You
play
want
the
to
highest level?
you want to play at the top.
Yeah.
Well, you'd always want to play at the top.
But I'm just saying it's going to be hard to establish a team if they're just consistently the best players are always going to be cherry-picked. And if all of them know that, they go, well, this is my shot to play for Australia, to play for the national team, right? Then it's going to be very hard to establish a team, as in the team culture around there to win that title.
You get that, but you also, the coach's role and the players is that awareness to know when that situation comes around. I tell you who do it really well, the Melbourne Storm, and they're brilliant at it because they've got this culture that when they know when State of Origin comes around and they lose 6 to 8 players every time for 6 weeks on end, but what they do is they've got this group of shadow players. They're building up opportunities. They've got an incredible culture, right? And what they do, they have these shadow players that mimic everything these 6 guys or 6 or 7 guys, whoever go after State of Origin, they'll do. So when it's their turn to shine, they know their role. They know their awareness. They're planning for that. Whereas another club might just go, oh, we've got a couple of players missing, we'll just fill it in. And then all of a sudden culture and everything just goes out of whack.
Yeah. But so what if you're that backup player?
You know that you're not going to be good as Cooper Cronk or any of the other guys that are coming in. Like, you just know your role. And
But it could also be an opportunity that if they perform during that space, that another club could look at them and go,
100%.
hey, you know what, you actually did all right.
Big
I'm going to
time.
give you an opportunity.
And that's why their culture's so good, because they're creating from the ground up. They're creating these amazing foundations. So just so you know, at the Melbourne Storm, they're the only club that I know that do it. When you come in the first week when you get inaugurated into the Melbourne Storm, you've got to do a week of labouring. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you've got to do a week of labouring. Why?
What are you like?
Labouring, like bricklaying.
Like
Go and dig.
literally bricklaying.
Bricklaying. Physical, go and dig holes, go and bricks.
Oh,
go
just
and
like
be a bricklayer.
hard labour work.
Hard labouring work. Why? So you never take this sport and this job for granted. Now, that's not having anything, but Do you know what I mean? Like every single person, bar one, did it and didn't last at the Melbourne Storm. They just thought that was just too good for that. Nah, not me. Only lasted one season, then they're out the back door. That's how you create culture. That's how you create a team that's winning, and they're so successful, the Melbourne Storm, and I absolutely love them about it.
Have you read
and I'm
the
a
book-
Manly Sea Eagles supporter.
Have you read the book Legacy?
Yes.
Yeah.
All Blacks.
So, yeah, that's right. So I haven't read it, but I was speaking to someone that has, and they were telling me, because he was saying to read it, but he was pretty much saying to me that there's a part there where they say they've got that mantra that whenever you put on the jumper, you have to leave it better than the way you found it, so that every generation of person that follows you that wears the All Blacks jumper is better than the one before.
Yep.
Every single time. So you have an obligation to leave your legacy on that number and make it better than it was before.
100%. There's a
Like
very
that is a very powerful thing too.
There's a very famous chapter in Legacy called Sweep the Sheds.
Yeah.
So it's basically we are all on the same level playing field. I don't care who you are, how many points you scored, what you did, who you think is going on. We leave this dressing room the same way, if not better, of what we did. We don't leave it to the cleaners. We don't leave it to the staff. All the players sweep the sheds and they make it. And that's just
cool.
the
Yeah, you're putting everyone on the same. We're
100%.
all
They
on the.
live on the same humility as every single other person. All Blacks dominated world rugby for so many years due to these 1%ers that they are creating this incredible culture.
Yeah.
Now, why can't that be any different to whatever it is, whatever?
Why couldn't you
life?
have that in your cricket team? That was my question. Like, why did your cricket team not have that same thing? Like, was it a culture thing? They were lacking the culture, and it became it's not us versus them, it's me versus you.
Yeah, togetherness is such a big one. We see it
massive,
in anything, whether it be a fucking pandemic,
Yeah.
to a sport team, to a business. When you are together and you're one, you're on the same page, and just know that, okay, I might be a bit behind today, but so is my teammate, but I've got your back. And I'm going to bring you up
and
through.
that's
anything's
reassuring, dude. That's reassuring when you're in a team or you're in a group environment to know that, like, even if I miss this ball or even if something happens here, there's someone behind me that's going to pick up the slack.
Yep.
Not to say that you're not going to do your best, but that gives you a different level of confidence.
Of course,
You know what I
because
mean?
then you can move on from it, learn
Yeah.
it, know that, and everyone knows. We had a big thing. It's like, no one gives a fuck if you make a mistake. No one cares if you make a mistake or you've done something wrong because they've seen the hard work that you've put in before. You've caught 700 balls or you've hit 300 balls or
You
you've
dropped
put
one
in
or
the
missed
work
one, yeah.
at work on the site or whatever. If you make a mistake, they're like, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because I know you're doing the work. When no one sees the work or not what you're doing, and I'm not saying you have to work in silence, but when you're not doing the work and that happens, that's when the judge is like, man, this has happened because we know you're not doing the work. That's when the crinkles start. That's when the fractures start to bring in.
And then the fractures turn into
Of
cracks.
course they do, yeah. When you can turn to your guy on the left and to the right and say no and have confidence that every single person has done the work, then we can go together. It's so, mate, like when you listen to Kobe Bryant and the players that he didn't pass the ball to, it's like, why the fuck would I pass you the ball when I know you haven't been putting the hours that I have? I'll take this shot myself.
Do you know what the sad thing is about Kobe, or from what I see? I learned more about him in his death than in his life.
So, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Never followed his story before that.
There you go.
Ever at all?
No. Oh, I mean, I've never been never followed the NBA much in the past anyway. But it's sad to have that I didn't ever see the greatness that he actually was.
Yeah.
I've listened to his podcast following. I've listened to a whole bunch of things of him and quotes that he said. And they probably all came out more so because of his death.
Of course.
Which is fine. But I really got to see the type of person he was. And I even use that with my own son and give him examples because he loves his basketball and his football and all that sort of stuff. I said Kobe would win a grand final or the championship, and the next day he was training.
Yeah.
The next day.
Yep.
He was the only one, but he was training, but he was obsessed.
Did you watch the Dream Team?
Yes, I
you
did.
Like,
I did.
amazing doco.
Amazing.
When all
What's
the
the
boys are
Dream
coming
Team?
back from Vegas, the doco about the USA when they went off the USA basketball team. And
Oh,
they went off
I haven't seen it.
So
Where
they
is it?
obviously had the 92 Dream Team, which was
Yeah.
like Magic, Jordan, Bird, like phenomenal. And they won the Olympics. They won the gold medal. And then from there, they just thought they were invincible.
Yeah.
No culture, cracks, everything fell apart. And then they lost Argentina, and then they lost, all, like the guy came silver medal. where they should have been the best, and the whole of America was just laughing at them.
Yeah.
And then they went on this ride back to glory, and we said, we're going to come together. We're going to bring back the gold. They didn't get a basketball coach. They got a military guy who, because he knew there was so many fucking egos in the room.
Yeah.
How can you control this?
Yeah.
Biggest egos in world sport. How could you control
best
it?
of the best.
It's not going to be a basketball coach. It's going to be one guy who just knew relationships really well, and he did that brilliantly. Then they just said, we need to bring Kobe in. And Kobe came in. They were like, fuck, we've heard these things about Kobe. Right. So then, and so Kobe came in. They were like, and he just does himself. Kobe does Kobe, and he sort of stick to himself. And the great story is when all these lads think they won a game, or they were all headed out to Vegas because that was where they were training, and they'd roll in at 4 a.m. in the morning, and off their heads, they get in the lift, and they'd trade past Kobe, and Kobe was going to hit the basketball court training.
Yeah, as they were coming out.
As they were
coming back in from a night out, he was going out to the courts to train.
And he said,
wow,
and
that's
they
so cool. I
also,
haven't seen it.
they went, oh, wow, that's interesting. And he'd be in the gym training hard. And then he said, one by one, each player went, well, I'm going to do this. So then by the end of it, and it was just this ripple effect. Like one player went and another one. All of a sudden, by the end of it, everyone was training in the gym with Kobe because he set this dominance, aura, and example.
Yeah, he set a standard. Beyond.
And that's where it came from. And then they went and won gold.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen that. I've watched The Last Dance. The Last Dance is really cool. Yeah. But yeah, Mamba mentality.
It is amazing. And you're right, though. Like, I probably learned even more. I think a lot of people did.
Yeah.
But you realise just how much of a phenom he genuinely was.
Yeah.
Kobe.
Yeah, he tells stories about when they were away with the team. Like, you know how they travel? They're on the road and they got a game, and he's like, I would tell them I want to practice at 5 a.m. They would tell me, just come out for drinks tonight. He goes, so I'd go out with them.
Yeah.
He goes, and I'd go out and we'd stay out late. He goes, but then guess what? 5 a.m. I was at their door, banging on their door saying, hey, I came with you. Now you're coming with me.
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's the sort of mentality. Like
Different mentality.
Yeah.
But again, you have to, I don't know, you go through some shit, I think. Ask the question there. If you could speak to Kobe today, would he change anything? I don't know, probably not. But fuck, he gave it a red hot crack, and he set some pretty good examples around the world to people.
Yeah, he did. And he says, there's actually a really good interview with him if you want to listen to it.
School of Greatness?
School of Greatness, yes.
Yep.
And he asks him and he says, what do you think helped you get what you wanted? And he said, my parents, when he went off to basketball camp, he said he sucked. He used to suck, yeah. Like when he was 11, he was shit.
Yep.
He was worse than everyone else.
Yep.
And when he went off to basketball camp, his parents said to him, hey, whether you win or lose, we love you.
Mate.
That's it.
There is
And
nothing.
he goes, that would have been the biggest thing in the world.
Nothing more important than that moment in Kobe's life. And this is what I'm trying to teach with all my cricketers and my youngsters and my mental health programs that I'm teaching these kids is that this relationship with their parents, how important that is. And what that provided for Kobe clearly stems how good he is today. And what clearly holds back a lot of human beings in this world because they're constantly trying to prove their parents right or wrong, or provided they want their love, they want their support, they want their acknowledgements.
Yeah.
Simply, Kobe's dad said, no matter whether you suck, whether you scored 0 or you scored 90, I'm going to love you no matter what. That set this amazing foundation and platform for his mind to go, well, that's cool.
Yeah, like I don't have to do this for that.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I'm going to go and do it.
I've got that no matter what.
Hell,
yeah.
I'm going to go score 90 anyway, but at least I've got this safety net that's going to be there. You can't imagine just how important that is for a parent to know that. You know, I'm doing that with my son at the moment, just in so many different ways. And I'm starting to see it flourish. He's now 3, Ollie, and I just have these conversations of literally, I don't know, pumping him up, building his subconscious that is so strong and so resilient and so powerful and positive that he provides this incredible foundation for himself, this incredible self-talk that he's got that we're building for him. Because from age 0 to 7, that's where you create your beliefs.
Yeah, that's your
pick up,
imprint period.
That's where you pick up all your beliefs, all your imprints, everything that you think and feel about you, 0 to 7. So literally like a fucking big foundation site, and everyone comes in and chucks some stuff in. Everyone chucks different beliefs in.
You want to talk about quotes? One of my favorite quotes is, we question all our beliefs except for the ones we really believe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like the ones that are really in deep, the ones that we were taught from a kid. Like you don't question that.
Yep.
You don't question what your parents taught you about. Like in anything, it could be religion, could be the way you were brought up, or the way you treat people, or respect, or whatever it might be. You never question why you do what you do there. But like touching on beliefs, like it creates you as a human. It creates your character.
Absolutely. And we've all got beliefs that we want to recode and that we all want to get rid of because we pick these up. And we don't even know how we pick them up. God bless you.
Cameraman should sneeze. Jesus.
Along the way, we all pick up codes that we don't. Along the way, we all pick up codes that we know that don't serve us.
Yeah.
But they're in our mind, and we try and do everything we can to try and recode them, to try and let them go. But how hard's that? So, fuck, I would rather just have them reset or set up as a youngster as we go. Now,
How cool is it that you know that though now for your son? Like how cool is
Oh,
that?
so amazing. I mean, I think that's obviously surely that's the progression and almost meaning of life, that everything that we learn, that we do is about giving the next generation, making sure that they're better. We're paving the way that so when we come to the end of our path, that we can go, hey, your son.
At 140.
At
to touch on our
140.
conversation
Fucking
from earlier.
unbelievable.
I'm
You
telling
think
you.
we could live into 140?
You watch, man. You're going to be 140, you're going to be like, that fucker was right.
If I can still move and my hips are swinging,
You're going to
then
be
I'm fine.
140, mobile. You probably do a marathon. I'll do it with you. We'll do it together.
Done.
Man, well, shit,
I'll be like
I taught
100.
that today, actually, funny enough. The first thing that we did starting off the day was I got all these builders to do Pilates. I had a Pilates instructor at 7 a.m. I said, all of you are here at 7 a.m. and they all did Pilates.
Right.
And one of the things that I put up on the slide before they got up there was choose your pain. I put a photo of two 84-year-olds on the screen. One was completely jacked. When I say jacked, he was just very fit. Top off, best body. He had the body of a fit 40-year-old, 30-year-old, whatever it might be, 20-year-old even. And then the other one was in a wheelchair, hunched over like a frail little man.
Yep.
I said, choose your pain. You need to start, if you want to have a healthy life and you want to be fit and strong, and when you're 84 still being able to move and to have that vitality in you, you need to choose your pain. You need to go to the gym now and work out, lift heavy weights, walk, run, sweat, bleed, whatever you need to do. Or you can have the pain of being in pain every single day. So it was, I think it really hit home. Because every single one of them, when they came back into the training an hour later after they'd done Pilates, they all had a spring in their step. All of them felt better. They were all chatty, like you couldn't shut them up. And I said, look at the effect. I actually said it to them. I go, guys, look at the effect that this has had on you.
I feel the energy in the
Look
room.
at it, exactly. This is just from a 1 hour Pilates session and you guys are all chatty. You're more vibrant. You're full of life. Imagine you did that every single day and made it a priority to focus on your health and your fitness.
Yep. Mate, next
it's
tomorrow they'll all rock up in Lululemon.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's discipline. It's discipline of regret, though, right?
It is.
Well, everyone's
100%.
walking around like we're not
gonna
going to
live
die.
forever.
We're going
That's
to
it.
live forever.
Gonna live
Robbie's
forever.
thinking we're going to live for
Man,
140,
so glad
but
you
we're
asked.
all fucking walking around, and it's so true.
Dude, I'm holding this
And
coin right here. Memento mori.
Tell me about this
Remember
memento
you're
mori.
going to die. That's what it means. It's a coin. It's got it on it. It says, remember you're going to die. And then on the other side, it actually says, memento vivere. Remember you're also going to live. Okay, so it's that daily reminder, right? And I'm going to give this coin out to absolutely everyone in the room tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
That's part of the training. They're not going to see this. It'll be weeks later before they see this. But I'm going to give everyone this coin. And it's like, guys,
cool.
you are going to die. Don't fuck around with what you're doing in your life right now.
Yep.
Right? You're going to die.
Yep.
But also remember you're going to live too. And it's choosing your pain. It's making sure that you make sure all the moments in your life are important, because not everything is about work. Not everything is about being a certain something that someone told you had to be in order for you to be fulfilled. You need to choose the journey, but you also need to know that there is a journey to have.
Of course.
Not just focusing on the destination.
Yep.
And that's where a lot of people lose that sight.
I love that. It's finding the joy. I work a lot in that mental health space to try and figure out and find people's joy, because we just got to look for it. Because if it's not, and if it's all one-way traffic, if it's all looking for the dollar or whatever that might be, then life goes way too fast, and all of a sudden you get laid to rest with an bank account that what can the fuck can you do
not
with
taking
it?
with you.
Yeah, what's it
do
gonna
you know, so
matter?
You've got to find that balance. You've got to find that sort of nice craft of what's bringing you passion and joy, which also will will give you that energy to then continue your work.
Yeah.
To find that purpose in around it all. And if you can't do that, to look for the fucking belly laughs, like to look for the good things.
Yeah.
I reckon
absolutely.
laughter is the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go do a stand-up gig just because I think some of the best times of my life have been times where I'm just laughing on the phone or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some of the stupidest shit. Like
Yeah. We do it all the time.
we do it all the time.
I reckon
yeah.
every
And we'll just
conversation
be
we
laughing.
have, we actually laugh.
Yeah, and it's like some of the best times I can look back at if you were to reflect on my life. Like some of the best times have just been times where you're belly laughing. Like you saw me before with Josh.
Yep.
I could not hold it together. I was like, we're not going to be able to do a podcast together, dude. Like I can't talk to you. Like I laugh too much. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's one of the best things, and I love it so much. I wanted to go do stand up.
Brilliant. I
Yeah,
love
I
that.
want to go give it a crack.
So
Just
good. Why not?
share it, man. Share it. Make other people laugh. You know what I mean?
Lean into that uncomfortability. Go and do it, and you surprise yourself. And incredible. I wrote on my stories today. Funny enough, my inspirational quote for the day was just made up there on the spot.
I love those quotes, by the way.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Do you know what's so funny? When I go to the UK or wherever I sort of go, and people come and stop and go, "Mate, thank you for that."
Yeah.
I get obviously messages, or people come and physically stop and say, "Mate, thank you for them." And sometimes you don't know what you're doing, but when you get that little bit of feedback, it's not about that, but it's just like, I needed that today. Messages flood in, just like, Cam, thanks for that. I needed that today. It feels like you've been following me in terms of, you know exactly where in my life, and everything you've said just hits home. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And others are just like, thank you for that.
That's the shit that makes it all worth it, isn't it?
Really,
really.
like, I don't. I do it for that, to try and have some sort of impact, to say, yeah, keep going. Again, from my own personal experiences. Today was just, you know, that moment. It was about when you see someone smile, appreciate that smile, because you know that in that person's life, in that moment, there's some real good joy happening. And we've all felt that. We've all felt that laugh or that smile. How good is it you can be so present when someone's sort of smiling, and when you see someone else doing it, and not only that, it's contagious. And that's the ripple effect. When you're seeing someone smile or laugh, it's the best thing in the world. How do we change the world? Well, we can't just change the world, but we can start with one person at a time, and making someone else smile or making someone else laugh. And that's the ripple effect that just grows and builds. And that's how we change it. You change your own village, your own community.
Yeah.
And that's when good things happen.
Yeah, you know what though? Now that I think of it, like you do that though. Like I can never, like, we've seen you at events, seen you at places, seen you in groups. I've never looked at you without you knowing I'm looking at you and seeing you off. You're either focused or you're happy. Every single time, dude. Like I've never gone to see you and like, and you're like half-assed or you're like shitty. I've never caught you off, man. And that is awesome. Like that is, that goes to show, like, you obviously catch yourself whenever, because everyone gets off and you do catch yourself pretty quickly and bring yourself straight back.
That's sort of
And that's a compliment. Like,
Thank you,
take it as
mate.
a compliment.
I appreciate that, buddy. That focus part, I am trying so hard.
When
My
I see you,
brain-
I'll see you.
I'm
so
trying so hard because my brain's just like, catch up. Can I please understand
I see.
this?
Yeah, you're like,
Because school wasn't my forte, but I'm trying. Because I'll learn it, because I'm so curious to learn these new amazing things that we all sort of want to get on board. The other part to that is that, yeah, we have off days and everyone has them, including myself. But what George was saying at the start was understanding and learning the tools to be aware. And I saw it like almost like Eagle Hawk, when it's like, I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad moment, step back for a sec. What's going on right now? How can we make this situation just a little bit better?
what is it about?
It's not going. It's going to pass. What it is about this that can make things better, and it's usually, just step outside and have a breather. Stop what you're doing for a sec. Get off your phone. Just hang on. What's important? What's really important right now? Whew, okay, here we go. We're going to be all right. And you step back into the things that just make sense, and the things that are important to you, and that everything is going to be okay in that end. Again, I've learnt these tools from a lot of experience, a lot of heartache, and a lot of joy as well. And you bring them together, and then I think that's just the wisdom that you grow up with, and you learn, and you just go, this works for me, this doesn't. Great.
Yeah,
Might work for
100%.
you.
Yeah.
What doesn't work for me? But I find those, and I step back, and we keep moving forward.
Do you have you were talking about beliefs with your son earlier. Do you have anything that you do, like from a father perspective, like any practices that you have with your son that I guess instill good beliefs, or like gratitude practices? Like I know you do gratitude. With
with your kids.
both kids, yeah, yeah. You do gratitude with both kids every night. anything you do like that, or any practices, or anything you turn to when you do, sort of get stuck that
Yep.
you'd recommend?
I certainly do. And this is, I think, kids, you are their prime example of what you do. So I'm trying to put these into my life and then obviously elaborate into his. And
Kids,
one of them,
kids do what you do, not what you say.
exactly
Yeah.
right. Exactly right. So for me personally, it's when first thing up in the morning, it's gratitude for me. It is the same thing, a stretch, say thank you and gratitude for me before he gets up. And then before, I just think it's the worst thing in the world that when people get up, the first thing they stick a phone in their face because that serotonin levels are already up high because you've got social media, and then your brain cannot compute or keep up with that same level of serotonin for the whole day. So automatically when you're not on your phone, you go. So for me, it's reading a book of inspiration and quotes, whatever it is. It's physically seeing words on a page that I go, then I meditate. And then, and I meditate, that's my time, right? And what I say by that is because I know that the whole world is coming at me, whatever time that is. It could be my son, my wife, emails, the world, social media, work, whatever it is. I know it's coming. Can't control that. What I can control is how I respond to it. And I have to set this little force field up, me personally, myself time, in the morning before it all comes at me. And then when I can do that, then I can work it out, and then I can have better response to it.
Yeah, you
And
come from a better place.
100%. I know, and I know the days where I have done it. Sometimes I've done it on purpose to either put the phone in my face or not meditate and watch the response. I'm agitated. I'm making bad decisions. I'm responding differently. So when I do that, I now work the same with Ollie in the morning. We do this thing. Jules just put a post on the internet. She captured it on video. He woke up because he's in our bed at the moment. He's going through this stage where he just gets out of his bed at 3 a.m. in the morning, just jumps into ours. And then he takes up the bed. He's like, bang. Like he's all over the bed. It's like, oh, God. But we wake up in the morning and and he knows it now because it's become a habit. And we go, stretch. Thank you. And then he just goes, thank you. And I go, grateful for. And he goes, mummy, daddy, Ollie, health, roof over our head.
Yeah.
How good.
Life. Like and it's amazing. And this has only happened in the last 2 weeks of him actually responding to that. Like it's become, I go, grateful for. He goes, mummy, daddy, Ollie. So which is really cool. And that's happening. And then at night time, and then during the day, before he goes, watch dinosaurs, watch Blippi. Like before screen time, same thing for me. It's like, no, mate, we'll go read first. Let's go read. And that's time because I understand that we all haven't got that, but I'm just making sure that when he's in our bed or wherever he is, we're reading first so that he doesn't get in a habit of, he knows as soon as he wakes up, he's going for screen time or he's going for TV. Like
Yeah, instilling the right habits.
Yeah. And at night time's the same thing. It's like little affirmations. I am awesome. I am funny. I am strong. I am brave. I am kind. I am caring. I am loved.
Yeah,
Again,
that's pretty
Kobe
cool.
thing. Like I am loved. Just know, mate. I love. Like just know what happens. I love you. You can be a little shit sometimes.
Yeah.
But do love you. And sometimes you go, fuck, is it even working? But again,
Oh, it does. 100% it does.
I'm starting to see
You'll
these
see
little
it.
things.
You'll see it one day when he'll say something. You're like, "Holy shit, that actually works." 'Cause
Yeah.
I've seen that with my own kids. It's like the interactions that I see with other children that are not my own, and how they talk and how they think. It's like that you can tell they haven't had that level of connection, with their parent or that guidance or anything like that. Whereas my kids now, I see it, and even here on day one, I was standing at the front and we were talking about negativity and how people perceive that and what they think. And the kids were sitting at the back of the room at the time. I say, "Kids, what's our number one rule at home?" And they both said, "No negativity." Like, and that wasn't pre-framed. Like it was just right off the cuff. I saw them there and I asked them, and they knew the answer.
God.
And I've noticed it in my son more than my daughter, but the way he thinks about things. But my daughter's starting to pick up on it too. She's at that age. She's 6. And one thing I love to say as well is if anything's going wrong, like if someone's annoying him or picking on them or something like that, I say, "I don't like your blue hair." And she's looking at me like I remember the first time. I said, "I don't like your blue hair." She's like, "I don't have blue hair." Okay, so that doesn't upset you when I say I don't like your blue hair? And she's like, "No." I said, "Okay, you're ugly." She goes, "Are you ugly?" And she's like, "No." So then why do you get upset if someone says something mean to you if you know it's not true?
Yeah.
And she's like both of them. I remember the first time I told them that. It's like, oh wow. And even now, when the kids,
First time you told me that, I was blown away. I was like, "Oh my god, what a great concept!"
Yeah.
Like,
but it's so good for kids to understand.
yeah, I was like,
I don't like your blue
32.
hair.
And he's
No.
But like even when they punch on themselves, like my son is 9. They're both at that age where they're sort of bickering between each other now. And like Stevie will pick on Emma or whatever it'll be. She will pick on him, annoy him sometimes. I'm like, guys, I don't like your blue hair. She's like, Stevie said this or did this. I'm like, yeah, but remember,
blue hair.
exactly.
That's sick.
It's just words.
So good.
You don't get upset. You're choosing to get upset over that. And I sit down with them and I explain it to them and they calm down. But then I see them going out in the real world and that having an effect on them. So you may not see it now, but the subconscious mind's massive. And that's why we do gratitude at night time, because I want the last thing that they think about before they go to sleep to be positive.
So good.
And then in the morning, if you have that opportunity, I don't in the morning because I'm at work.
Yep.
But if you have that opportunity in the morning, again, reframe it again. So the first thing they wake up, okay, what positive things are we going to think before we take on the day? And man, I'd love to see it in a few years' time when they're teenagers and adults, the effect that has on them. And I'm sure it'll be profound. I'm sure it will be.
So powerful.
Yeah.
So good, mate. And and look, you get into it, but fuck, how a simple lesson like that is
Yeah.
not being learned at school.
No, oh man,
This
we
is-
said this today.
yes.
Like, are
I
you
was
kidding
literally
me?
saying this. I walked through every slide that I'd written on the wall. And I'd go, guys, show me which lesson here today was taught at fucking school.
Yeah.
Show me which one. And I go, tell me, do you think if we were taught leadership styles at school, or we did a disc profile at school, how powerful that would be to an 18-year-old wanting to know what direction his life is going to go into? Instead, we're taught fucking Pythagoras theorem. Have you used that since?
No.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a builder and I still haven't used it.
Yeah. Right.
And it's a shame because it's like these things are important. It's like history. History is a relevant subject. Irrelevant. Unless you want to be a historian, it is an irrelevant subject.
I disagree
Because-
with you there.
Yeah, but you know what?
History is.
I
Not
used to
relevant.
have that
Yeah.
theory,
I
but
used
I
to think it
love
was-
history
yes,
now
yes.
because I love where
I
you
used to
I
think
like it.
back.
That's cool. And it's important.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
I
But
used to
I'm
think
saying,
it was irrelevant, but there is lessons in
oh,
history.
yes. But I'm just saying from the
I used to think
perspective.
it was stupid. I used to think it was dumb. I was like, they're like history or geography. I was like, no, I'd rather know where stuff is. I'll do geography.
Yeah, okay.
But now I look back and I regret not choosing history.
Okay, you might do that from the perspective of you wanting and finding that interesting, maybe
No.
connection with your heritage, whatever it might be.
Lessons.
It can be that too.
Dude, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme.
Okay, that's fine. But all I'm saying is everything you're saying, you can find on this right now. Right now, you can choose to go study that and go find out the answer or whatever.
So
it
you're
is.
saying history
Why-
now?
Yeah, in school.
Oh, as in like
I'm
memorizing
saying,
it?
No,
Is
but
that
I'm
what you mean?
saying as a school, like, why the fuck do I need to know who the first prime minister is?
Oh, no, that's stupid.
Oh, do you know what I'm?
No,
But
like,
that's what's being taught.
That's to me is like that stuff's irrelevant.
But that's
like,
what's being taught. That's what I mean. Get rid of that and teach leadership.
I used to be
Teach
able to
values.
I used to be able to name every prime minister.
Okay, stupidity.
Go for it.
Oh, no, I can't do it now.
Stupidity. That's stupid.
I used to be able to do it. Yeah,
That
I was in
occupied
school.
space in your brain that didn't need to be there.
Oh, I'm agreeing
know
with
what I
that, mate. When this really hit home for me was when I was chatting to a couple of youngsters, and I was curious to know. They came home from school and I said, "What was your day like? Talk me through it." And they went maths, science, religion, English, PE. I was like, "Holy shit! If you're doing that 5 days a week for a whole year, then you're compounding knowledge and all that. Imagine being able one lesson of social media or what you just talked about, personal development, leadership styles, one lesson per day.
Gratitude.
Fuck, think about how that would compound and change your whole game as a human being. From just say even fuck, you could go right back to primary school, but minimum from year 7, becoming a teenager all the way through for the next 5 years, one subject a day that actually develops your life and you as a human being. That's not a blanket effect because you're asking personal questions that relate to you, not what is the answer to this. It's not black and white. It's your personal.
They don't want that. They want sheep. They want people that can be controlled. It's an agenda in that regard.
You're trained to be an employee.
100% you are.
Yeah.
Because that's what the majority of the world needs.
But they're not thinking anymore.
Yeah.
They're not thinking anymore because it's more than just agenda. It's more to thinking workforce. It's actually people's lives now, because when we were growing up, you went to school, and if you got bullied there and then, and by come 3 p.m. you used to go home and you could do your own thing, and then you wouldn't follow you. Now, you get bullied during the day physically. Now you get bullied online, and you are no escaping it.
Yeah, that's right.
This is why these youngsters, unfortunately, finding it too hard, haven't got the tools to deal with it, and are taking their own lives.
That's it.
When is it going to fucking stop? And when are these people going to understand that there is so much more to just the workforce?
Can I play devil's advocate here?
Go for it.
Do you think that's like I do not disagree with you in the sense of that shit should not happen, but do you think that people are not too soft now because we're raising zoo animals?
Describe zoo animals.
Caged environment. Don't let them do this. Don't show them that. Don't show them anything bad. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? They're not in the real world. You're not letting your kids see what the real world's about. You're in you're in a bubble. And then you let the kid out into the real world, and then they get destroyed.
It's like
because the world doesn't give a fuck.
100%. That's eighth place trophies.
Yeah, that shit. Eighth
fucking
place
hate
trophy.
that.
Yeah, like
My
why
son
would you?
came
Why
home with that once.
if you're not first, you're last.
That's it.
Yeah,
My son came
know what
home
I
with
mean?
that once. He
Yeah.
did a marathon.
They
A
gave it to
marathon
me.
run.
They gave me one once. I dumped it straight in the bin in front of him.
Me too. I lost the grand final.
Dude,
I
why
remember
not? Like,
losing a
why?
grand
Yeah, they're
final
like, here's
and
a
I was
participation
16.
certificate.
That's it.
I said, what? And I put it straight in the bin. And they're like, you don't want it. And I was like, why would I want it?
Yeah.
I came third.
Yeah.
That's not good enough.
Look, I don't mind third.
No, third sucks.
It does, yeah, but it can at least drive
Bronze
you
is
to
the
get going.
ugliest color.
That is so true. That is so true.
Why would I want? Yeah, seriously.
No,
I
but that's
get it,
good. But
I
at
get
least
it.
that
But
drives
that's-
you.
that's-
Hang on, I
that drives
disagree.
me.
But that even third can still drive you because you're still getting that trophy. But you're like, fuck, I want first. When you get 8th, 9th, 100th place trophy, it's like here's an achievement just for rocking up. My son did a little like a kids marathon. This is a couple years ago, and he came home with a trophy.
What do they call that again?
I don't even know. Whatever. I pay zero.
There's a
interest
name. There's a name
with
for
that.
it.
But he did it, and he came home with a trophy. And my wife, like, she knows straight up, like that just light bulbs in my head. And he comes home, he goes, oh look what I got. I said, wow, did you win the race? Like, I played it big. I go, you won the race. He goes, no.
You knew.
Yeah, of course I knew. Of course I knew. I go, did you win the race? And he goes, no. Oh, I guess you come second? He's like, no. Third. That's a third place trophy then, isn't it? And he's like, no. He goes, no, I just finished. I'm like, you just finished? I go, so you didn't do anything? And he's like, looks at me. He's a bit younger, but I wanted to make a strong point to him so he remembered it. And anyway, I go, Stevie, did I get I didn't get an award for brushing my teeth this morning. I got dressed all by myself. No one gave me a trophy. I drove my car to work and got to my location. I didn't get anything for it. You didn't do anything. You didn't work hard. You didn't put in the hours to earn that trophy.
No, we're rewarding effort, not results. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're rewarding effort. Oh, you finished. No one gives a shit. You came third. Like, you did. You know what I mean? We're not rewarding the result. Like, you didn't do enough to get the top position.
They need to put the effort in. They need to put the work in to get that result.
Like, so he put the work in. He finished.
How far was the marathon?
Oh, okay.
Who cares?
I think it's a K.
Oh, I do. Like, occasionally,
no.
it's
They're
so
like
easy for a lot of kids to just pull
they're-
out. So if you finish that, if it's a fucking 50-meter race, that's a different story.
I think it's like under a K.
Yeah,
I think
okay,
it's a
I
K
get what you're saying.
or something like that. I think that's what it was.
It's got a name for it. Like, I'm struggling to remember it. It's got a high school thing,
Look,
primary school
I'm
thing.
a football coach now for my son's team. And I try, like, we have a competition after every single training, which is goal kicking. And I've made it I made it on purpose that whoever kicks a goal from the location, like we make it harder as the group gets eliminated, everyone gets eliminated. And if you kick a goal, you get footy cards. If no one kicks a goal, I don't give footy cards to the person that was closest, whereas the other coaches do. I'm like, no, did you kick a goal? And they're like, no, I didn't. Then why am I giving you footy cards? You didn't get the result. If this was to win the game, if this was to win the grand final, you just lost the game. And I also make sure it's important when they know we've lost a game too, because they're like, oh, we don't keep score. Bullshit, I'm keeping score.
Yeah,
I will
see,
tell
that
them,
stuff. They're not
I will
keeping
tell
score,
you
like-
when you've lost, and I've got to tell them. And if the parents don't like it, fucking pull your kid out of the team. I don't give a shit. Like, pull your kid out. Do you know how many parents love me for it? All of them. All of them. I'm like the favorite coach of the club. Not because I'm the best. I'm probably not the most technically sound guy there to teach your kids, but I'm teaching them some core values. I go, guys, you lost. It's because you didn't put in the effort. It's because the other team played better. It's because of this, because we didn't kick enough goals today. Next week, we're going to kick more, aren't we? Yes. Are you going to try harder? Yes. Is it fun losing? No. Cool. Let's get to training. Right? So all the kids enjoy that and they see the value in what we're doing, and hopefully they can take that off into their life. Man, I love I love the direction this conversation's gone in, and we've gone for ages
Would you,
as well.
would you just quickly on that, would you think that that's result driven then, or is that more process driven? So result, win or lose, fucking who cares? If you don't focus on the win or result, loss, but you focus on the process, just kicking goals.
Oh yeah. Focus on the
then
process.
that
Yeah.
will then eventually lead
Absolutely.
to winning.
I
and
mean,
you're
I
like, oh,
don't-
fuck, we just won that. Why?
Yeah,
because
that's
we
right.
focused on our process.
That's
You
right.
get rewarded for
100%.
the result.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's a big loop because
Yeah.
you go, well,
that's
the
what I'm saying, we're
result
rewarding
then back
effort
to because we
now.
kick more goals. How did you kick more goals? Because we had process and effort
That's
to
right.
kick the goals.
We did the
Yeah.
drills at
So
training.
it's not
we did all
the
this stuff.
it's not the result
Yeah.
that matters.
Yeah,
It's we just kicked more goals.
I
That
get what you're saying.
naturally
Like, you
leads
should-
into a winning result.
attachment to result, like releasing attachment
Yeah.
to result is key. Like if you can have no attachment to the result and just focus on the
Because
process.
if you go the same way, if you had the same emotions and feeling, and you lose by 1 point, but you played your fucking house down,
Yeah.
and you go, oh, but you lost, and we're not getting this. It's like, God, we did everything we possibly can.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Different
There's still
story.
that's right. But then I would still reiterate that to them too. But if we lost from 1 point because if you're not putting in when the team's putting in the effort and when they're not as well.
Well,
Yeah.
it stems back to what I was saying. When we won competitions in sport, you could look to your left and look to your right, knowing that these blokes are putting in the work. And if they dropped a catch or didn't succeed, you'd be okay. You'd be fine.
they're
No
there.
stress at all. We know you're going to come good because we've seen you put in the work. When they're not, that's when you go, no, you're not getting a participation trophy or a certificate. So I get that. So instead of, I guess, asking questions, yeah, but how do you change that?
Yeah.
Fuck knows.
How do you change? Yeah,
How do you-
that's a
how
great.
do you
Yeah, that's a
change that?
great response to that question. How do you change it? I think you don't shield as much as I'm not a parent, so I can't say. Maybe, I'm sure it's much tougher.
Were you a kid once?
I was a kid once, yeah.
You could probably relate then.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying from the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
I didn't get the like as a kid. I had the tough dad and the loving mum.
Yeah.
So I didn't like, you know what I mean? I had the tough dad.
Mm.
I think that helped me. I think that made me like who I am today. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think that now kids are almost given too much and they're given everything and it's making them softer. Like, would I be wrong in saying that we have a softer society, like a softer generation?
Not at all.
I
Not at
think
all.
You know
so.
what I mean?
Not at
You
all.
can't
I
talk
think
to
so.
a Gen Z or without
they
saying
are.
something and they're like, I'm triggered. And you're like, give me the gun. No, do you know what I'm saying though? Like I said, it's a joke. But
what you
like,
mean. No, I know exactly what you mean.
and it's like, yeah, how do you fix that though? What do you do? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I was
It's-
reading something the other day, and it was so true of all, I guess, our generations, including now, is when your son or goes out the door and you go, don't run or be safe today, take care, look after yourself, and that stems the psychology.
I
right?
still get that till now.
Instead of, and you know what I've been saying to my son is, it's because you don't usually hear kids when they go out the door like, take risks today, lean in, go get them, take risks, go. And I've actually been saying that to Ollie, and it's like he's all of a sudden he's climbing up shit, and like, I mean, he's a kid, but you put that psychology into them, and all of a sudden they go for it.
Let them learn where the edges are. Like, let them push the boundary.
You got to let them fall.
Yeah,
You
let
have
'em
to-
fall,
You have
yeah,
to
you
let
gotta
them
let
fall.
'em
You have
fall.
to let them graze their knees to that certain degree. Where it's not obviously
Now, where
dangerous,
we can still protect them.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
It's
course.
instinctively built into parents. They just don't let go. It's because they want to protect.
But
And it's hard. That's a
want-
hard thing.
100%.
You would- but
They
Yeah,
wanna
that's
protect
right.
the
That's what I was
children.
saying. I couldn't relate.
They
how
wanna
much do you
protect the
become a
children.
lion when you see another kid tack your kid or
Yeah. And
And you're
whatever?
like,
and
I'm
you're
gonna
like,
go kick this 4-year-old in the head.
you mother-
I'm gonna.
yeah.
But it's your job. It's your job as a parent to teach your kid to become able
That's right.
without you being there anymore. Right?
That's it.
That's your number one job as a parent. You need to teach this human being. You need to become able. I'm going to be gone one day. You're still going to be around, hopefully, and you need to be able while I'm not here anymore. You need to be able to function without me.
Yeah.
That's I think it's your number one job as a parent.
Well, that and look, you two are a prime example of this, and you can finish on this, which I genuinely believe is like you two have taken and got yourself out of the vortex of what you what school was, what society was, and look what you two are doing. Like you've got a different mindset. You've had a different awareness. Everything we've spoken about today, you're doing differently to create the future, the life and everything that you want to do. You should be really proud of what you're doing because it's really special. Not everyone does it. If everyone was doing it, well, fucking it wouldn't be nowhere near as easy. And not everyone does it. You guys are, and you're setting a great example to not only your kids, but to your family and friends and the people that have come before you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Amazing.
I think, though, it's not for me anyway. I'm not speaking for you. It wasn't something that I came out of high school like, though. I wasn't.
wanting to be a podcaster.
Well, I didn't even know what a podcast was until a couple of years ago, mate.
Yeah.
But so, no, in the sense that I never had what you're saying as a high school kid. Right? I never had that entrepreneurial drive
yeah,
or
me
wanting to
neither.
be some motivational coach or wanting to do personal development. I actually was arrogant in the sense that when I finished uni, I thought, nah, I'm just going to be the best at construction and building and that's it.
Yep.
I'm not going to do anything else. I don't have time to study more or read books or do any of that shit. I'm just going to do this.
Dude, I'm
And it wasn't until I did that it started to just expand and
course.
the realm of possibility exploded from there. And now I get the opportunity is I can start my kids off to do that younger now. That's where I see the huge power.
Dude, how funny! I'm exactly the same.
Yeah.
I didn't have any of that. Was not the sort of person to ever speak from stage or to want to put myself out there. I was really shy growing up. Didn't read a book till I was 26.
Yeah, same.
Um,
Same, man. I was late 20s before I picked up
there
the
was
book.
something else you mentioned there that I really wanted to touch on. That was really important, but I can't remember what it was now. It's gone.
Yeah.
What else did you say? There was one more
What was it? Now I forgot too. I don't even know what I was talking about.
thing. But
What
how
No, I was just
funny,
not
yeah.
being entrepreneurial. I wasn't with
yeah,
that.
yeah. I don't have that. Thanks, you just threw it on me. I didn't have that. You know how everyone has that. I've always been entrepreneurial.
Yeah,
When
I used to sell lemonade.
Oh
as a
yeah,
fucking kid.
when I was a kid, I used
Yeah,
to
I did
wash.
that shit.
When I was a kid, I
I
used to
sell
wash
my,
cars.
I used to sell my
wash
mum's
cars.
fucking secondhand clothes on
I used
eBay.
I used to wash. I used to wash cars and I used to charge everyone.
Yeah.
I used to wash cars. I used to do it for free. Didn't think about
like
charging people.
cars.
Yeah, just because I like cars. Did not
business,
even
mate.
think
Good
about
business
charging
model.
people. Yeah,
I used to
I
just-
didn't have that. Like it just wasn't there. And
That's still his business model, everyone. Just so you know. That's
Giving-
so
giving
getting,
value,
getting
yeah.
quick before he figures it out.
before I work it out,
Man, what an amazing chat this has been. It's not the direction I actually thought it would go in, but mate, we'd love to have you back again if ever we're around the same circle and get you on the show. Where can people find you if they want to have a chat or just to say good day or reach out and even get you involved in everything that you're doing?
Thanks, mate. Yeah, my Instagram account is @CamMerchant, and my website is CameronMerchant.com. So you
Awesome.
can get all in touch there. Doing some great work again. Also with Gotcha for Life at the moment, we just released a mental health, mental fitness online survey and workshops that you can just tap into. It's gotchaforlife.org. And there's some amazing tools and strategies along those spaces. And
Awesome.
for me personally, get in touch, CameronMerchant.com, or follow me on my socials, Cam Merchant. And release a bit of joy into your life.
That's it, man.
release a little bit of joy.
What a great way to finish the podcast.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Good stuff. Thanks, guys. As always, be sure to tune in next time and subscribe to the channel. Share this with anyone that you reckon may get some benefit from it. And we look forward to catching up next time. Peace
Thanks,
out.
guys.